Today we're making 10 summer dump and go crock-pot dinners. Easy meals you can throw together in minutes and let the slow cooker do all the work.
These are perfect for hot days when you don't want to stand over the stove, but still want something homemade and delicious. First up, Crockpot fajitas. This one is as simple as it gets, and it is the perfect recipe for the crockpot. It'll be ready in 3 hours when you cook it on low. You can use 1 pound of sliced chicken or beef for this recipe, or you could just throw in extra veggies and keep it vegetarian. Toss that into the crock pot along with 2 small sliced bell peppers and a small sliced onion. Then sprinkle in 2 teaspoons each of chili powder, paprika, and cumin, plus 1 teaspoon each of salt, garlic powder, and pepper. That's all you need. Now we're just going to give it a quick mix. Cover it with the lid and cook it on low for 3 hours. Serve it in warm flour tortillas with your favorite toppings. It really doesn't get any easier than that. It's maybe 5 minutes of slicing, and then the rest of it is totally hands-off.
If you've ever spent much time at the mall food court, you're gonna love this one. I'm making Crockpot Bourbon Chicken. It's sweet, savory, and perfect over rice. Season about 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs with salt and pepper and place them in the crock pot. In a jar, mix together 1/3 cup of bourbon or apple juice or broth with 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of soy sauce, and 2 cloves of minced garlic. Shake it up until the sugar is all dissolved. Then pour it right over the chicken. Move it around a little so the chicken gets coated. Now let's just cover it, and we're gonna cook this on high for 2 hours or on low for 4 hours. Now, about 30 minutes before the cooking time is up, you want to get a cornstarch slurry ready. This is just about a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of cold water. This is really going to thicken the sauce up. Pour it right into the sauce and stir it up. You can also break up the chicken a little bit so that it gets a little saucier. Then just cook it until the time is up. I like to serve this over rice with some green onions.
You don't just need main dishes when you're cooking in the crock pot, you need sides as well. These garlic Parmesan potatoes are the easiest set it and forget it side dish you can make. I'm using baby yellow potatoes for this recipe. You could also use red potatoes. It doesn't matter, it's up to you. Just make sure you cut them at least in half so that they're bite size. Add the potatoes to the crock pot. We're gonna pour over 1/2 cup of melted butter, 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, 3 cloves of minced garlic, and 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. Stir it up to get everything well blended. Then cover it. You're going to cook it on low for 4 hours or on high for 2 hours. When it's done, serve it with some parsley and extra cheese. These potatoes get so tender and delicious. And you don't have to take up extra space in your oven when you can just cook them in the crock pot. That's a win for me.
You've probably had sesame chicken before, right? Well, today you can have it in sandwich form. We are making the most delicious pulled chicken sandwiches with a sticky sweet sesame sauce. First, let's add the sauce to the pot. It's 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, 2 cloves minced garlic, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of Shaoxing wine or chicken broth, 2 tablespoons Chinese rice vinegar or white vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Stir it all up until the sugar is dissolved. Next, set the chicken right into the sauce. You can use breast or thigh here. Now that it's all mixed up, we're just gonna cover it and cook this on low for 4 to 6 hours. By the way, if you're looking for the recipe, there are links down in the description. You can find all the recipes on our website, A Food Lover's Kitchen, where we also have tons of other recipes for you. Now, this is ready. So I'm just gonna lift the lid here, and we're just gonna shred the chicken right here in the pot. Go ahead and turn it up to high. Then mix together 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1 tablespoon of cold water. Pour that cornstarch slurry into the pot. Stir it so that everything gets combined. The sauce will thicken, and when it does, turn off the pot. I really prefer toasted buns, so these are gonna go on the stovetop to get a little toasty. I just want to add, sometimes your crock pot is not really hot enough to thicken up the sauce, so you might have to transfer it to the stove top to get it thickened up. Also, letting some of the steam evaporate will help, so try that. And now all we have to do is add the sesame seeds. And pile it onto toasted buns. It's saucy, savory, and perfect for an easy summer dinner.
This creamy tomato basil chicken is comfort food to me, and it's so easy to make. Grab your slow cooker and dump in a can of crushed tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, 3 cloves of minced garlic, a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half teaspoon of dried basil, a half teaspoon of oregano, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Stir it well so that everything gets combined. Mix the cornstarch with the heavy cream and pour that right in. That'll help it thicken up. Now we're going to set the chicken right into the pot. Push it down so it gets completely coated. All right, we're gonna cook this on low for 3 to 4 hours, or until the thickest part of the chicken reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the best way to know that it's safe to eat. Stir in the basil. Serve it with a little Parmesan on top. Doesn't that look great? I like to serve this just the way it is, with a nice big piece of French bread to soak up all that sauce. But you can also serve it over pasta. It's really great that way too. You are gonna love how easy this dinner is to make.
I think the easiest thing to cook in the crock pot is chicken wings, and this sweet and sour version is my favorite. Grab a jar and mix 1/4 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, and 1 teaspoon of sriracha. Now we're ready to get all these things in the crock pot. Add the wings, pour in the sauce, and toss to coat. Cover it and cook this on low for about 3 hours. All right, we're down to about the last 15 minutes of cooking here with these wings, and this is not a necessary step, but this is something that I like to do because I think it gives a better texture to the wings. So with about 15 minutes left, I just take them out of the sauce and put them on a baking sheet. And then we're left with just the sauce in the crock pot. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of a cornstarch slurry to thicken up that sauce. This is just a tablespoon of cornstarch and a little bit of water. I'm just gonna pour that in there. And then we're just gonna let this sauce continue to cook for the rest of the 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna put these under the broiler for about 10 minutes themselves just to crisp up the skin. All right, the chicken and the sauce is ready, so I'm just gonna give it a little taste because sometimes I feel like it needs a little salt or maybe a little bit extra vinegar. It's pretty good. If you feel like it needs any of those, just go ahead and add them before you pour this over your chicken. Not gonna lie, this is one of my favorite dinners. They're sweet, tangy, and perfectly tender.
You're gonna add tons of flavor to your weeknight dinner routine with this slow cooker butter chicken. It has authentic Indian flavor, but you can find all of the ingredients in your regular grocery store. And you only need 15 minutes to prep it. We're gonna start by adding all the sauce ingredients to the crock pot. You need a 14-ounce can of tomato sauce, 5 to 6 minced garlic cloves, 2 teaspoons of grated ginger, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons garam masala, and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. Phew, that was a lot of spices, right? But this is where the magic happens. They all work together to make the most incredible sauce. Now let's add the chicken in there. And scatter about 3 tablespoons of cubed butter around the top. Cover it and cook it on high for 1.5 to 2 hours or on low for 4 to 6 hours. When it's done, you can pour in half a cup of heavy cream, to give it that nice, creamy, velvety finish. Garnish with a little fresh cilantro. I like to serve this over basmati rice with some naan on the side. When I'm craving something comforting, but I can't be bothered with more than 15 minutes of prep, this is what I make. Every bite is full of flavor, and the more you eat it, the more you crave it.
Crockpot meatballs and marinara are one of the easiest dinners to make. These tender Italian-style meatballs are smothered in marinara sauce and cooked to perfection in the crockpot. It's an easy dinner that's both filling and delicious. To the crockpot, add a pound of frozen meatballs, a can of crushed tomatoes, a tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. Stir it up and put on the lid. We're gonna cook these on low for 6 hours or on high for 3 hours. That's all there is to it. Super simple. You can serve it over pasta or just on its own with a little Parmesan cheese. Now that you've seen how easy these are to make, you're gonna wanna eat them for dinner tonight. Oh, they're so good.
Okay, let's light up this party. I'm talking Firecracker chicken sandwiches here. These little guys are so good, everyone will still remember them next year. I'm cooking them in the crock pot today. It's super easy, it frees up your time, and it frees up your stove, which is great if you're having a party. In goes your sweet and spicy barbecue sauce, sweet chili sauce, chili crunch, which is the real star of the show here, soy sauce, and a little honey. Then add the chicken breasts and make sure they're completely covered in the sauce. Stir it around so it soaks all that firecracker goodness. Pop the lid on and set it to low for about 6 hours. That's it. You've got all kinds of time to do whatever you need to do before this is ready. 6 hours later, it's ready. All you need to do is grab 2 forks and just shred the chicken right in the pot. It should fall apart really easy at this point. Quick tip here, if the sauce looks thin, leave the lid off for about 15 minutes to thicken it up a bit. While that's thickening up, let's cool things down with a quick and crunchy slaw. I'm just using a bag of coleslaw mix. We're keeping it super simple. Add the mayo and a splash of white vinegar. Toss it all together and you're done. This is going to complement the spicy meat and balance out that heat. All right, let's assemble one of these guys so we can give it a try. Grab your bun. We're going to top that with some of the spicy chicken. Okay, then top it with some of that creamy slaw. We just made a sandwich that people cannot stop talking about. A perfect combination for a super saucy sandwich with just the right amount of heat. That's 10 easy summer crockpot meals with minimum prep and maximum flavor.
Now to get more dinner inspiration, click here to start streaming our top dinner recipes.